Hey, Matt here with Forward Lawyer Marketing. Today, I wanted to cover what we typically go over during our initial strategy session with a law firm that we're going to be working with potentially. So, in this particular case, it's a Denver family and divorce law firm. They actually do a little bit of employment as well, but for the sake of our conversations, we're focusing on building up their family and divorce practice in and around Denver, Colorado. So, I'm going to blur out the name of the firm just for obvious reasons. But in this case, it's a relatively new firm. They had a site built by their buddy that, quite frankly, is not good. It's very thin on content. It really doesn't tell the story about the firm. There's no practice area pages. There's no ability to blog. And also it has not built up any trust with the search engines from an SEO perspective. So our process when we are approached by a law firm is we initially have a 20-minute conversation, could be longer, but we really try to understand the goals of that specific law firm because everyone's goals are going to be unique. Where are you trying to get clients from? What type of clients are you trying to see? Are you trying to see these clients, the phone ringing right off the bat? Are you willing to be a little bit more patient with an SEO program or a combination of the two? So we really try to understand those goals, any potential budget, and then try to put together a program that's going to help achieve those goals, and then we set proper expectations. So in this case, we're going to go over this presentation. And if you look at our first slide, it's really just letting most of you know this. I mean, people are searching on the internet for a law firm. Now, whether you have billboards or TV or internet, or if you're referral based, the fact of the matter is people are going to turn to the internet when they're searching for a lawyer. And they're going to look at your reviews, they're going to look at your site, they're going to look at everything to determine, is this a firm that I want to call? Again, whether it's from a different form of advertising or referral based. So it's really important to have that strong internet presence because at the end of the day, that's all they're going to know about if they don't know who you are. So we really try to position ourselves as a small law firm marketing agency as your in-house marketing department, an extension of your law firm, where we're going to take care of all of these things for you. We're going to understand what your goals are. We're going to put together a program to meet and exceed those goals. We're going to be very accessible, whether it's a simple question or if you want to have a monthly or bi-weekly review of what's going on. That's what we're here for. And we want to keep you posted on the progress that we're making and where we're shooting to go. And that's really important. So everything that we do, we employ proven strategies that we've implemented over the course of the last 10 years in order to help achieve those goals that you have. And at the end of the day, it's about results. So, if we're not delivering for you, then it's not going to be a win-win for both of us. So we really want to serve as that extension of your office as your in-house marketing department. So when we go through a site, we'll take a look at their site, right? We'll look at it both from an aesthetic, content, technical perspective and really try to understand where they stack up in their local marketplace. So what I always like to go over, and many attorneys are very well versed on this, others not so much, and everywhere in between, but there's really four components to a Google search page. So you have your local service ads, which are at the top. This is a newer product that Google's offering where it's essentially pay per call. Sometimes it makes sense depending on how competitive your marketplace is. But in many cases, we find that the pay-per-click ads are delivering a lower cost per lead than the local service ads. But we'll help you determine what may make sense for you, depending on if you wanted to entertain to doing a paid search program. So, the pay-per-click ads, show up at the top. Google also offers the smart campaigns where you can show up in the maps. This is an ad you'll see. Your third component is your map section, which Google is usually going to serve law firms that are locally in that area. So, for example, if you're in Dallas, they're usually going to show Dallas and not Arlington, Texas law firms. So, this is also a byproduct of SEO, and we have a very specific optimization process to optimize any Google business profile that we're in charge of optimizing. So lastly is your organic or natural rankings. So Google has a complex algorithm that determines who's ranking based on a number of different factors. And if Google deems your site relevant based on that, you have the opportunity to show up organically on top of, showing up in the Google Maps section. And you don't have to pay X amount of dollars every time somebody clicks on you. So at the end of the day, Google's whole concept is that if they can provide relevant results to the end user, whether you're searching for a moving company, a Chinese restaurant, or a law firm, then that's going to satisfy what that person is looking for, and then they can make money on the ads right here. And there's pros and cons to both SEO and PPC. SEO is going to take a little bit longer as far as to get those results, depending on where your site's at. And then pay-per-click ads, essentially, we can put the ads up today, and you can start seeing results pretty fast, depending on, again, the competitive marketplace. So when we look at this particular site, there's a lot to be desired. His on-page optimization, internal linking, the content, the title metadata. It's definitely has a lot of area of opportunity. His mobile site and his site speed is not great. His keyword rankings, he's non-existent when somebody's searching for a divorce lawyer in Denver or anywhere around it. Off-page optimization, he's got no links built back to his site. Overall, his visibility isn't great. He doesn't have any reviews on his Google Business or Facebook or any of those profiles. And there's a lot that we can do for him if he's willing to take the jump and take the leap into digital marketing through SEO and or PPC. So one thing I'll always look at right off the bat, and this isn't a ranking factor, it just tells us the likelihood that an individual site might rank. So it's called domain authority. So basically there's about 150 different ranking signals that domain authority looks at. And these ranking signals are what Google is going to look at when determining if you're showing up at the top of the page or the 15th page, buried in the results. So usually the higher that domain authority, the higher likelihood you have to rank. And this just gives us a gauge as to where the site is, how much equity, how much trust that site has built up with the search engines. In this case, we can tell that there really hasn't been anything done. It's a newer site. It was launched, I want to say 6 to 8 months ago. And it's going to take a while to see organic results because he's got a lot of room to make up. So we'll stack his site up against some of the local competitors that appear to be ranking consistently in these map and organic sections. So in this case, this particular firm, this firm, and this firm, they're ranking all over organically. So we'll take a look at what their domain authority, their link profile is compared to theirs, which is, again, non-existent. So in this case, if he's going to engage in SEO, it is going to take a while. And that's an important piece that we want to stress so that, after 2 months, if he's not number 2 or number 1 in Denver for family law keywords on Google, then we don't want that to happen. We need to set proper expectations. So, it's going to have to consist of building content, building links, and that's going to take a while for us to catch up to where these firms are, where they've been likely engaging in SEO for a while, have a fair amount of backlinks and authoritative backlinks built back to the site. So, I told him, and I will tell him, that this is going to be a long-term investment where you have to be patient to build up those rankings. We also looked at the employment side of things compared to his site, although this is not really our focus, but these firms are ranking on the employment side, and we covered that as well. So one thing that we'll also look at is a GT metrics report, which is your core web vitals. That is one thing that the site is doing well on. And that's something we always look at for all of our accounts, because we want to make sure that this component of technical SEO is taken care of and doing well. So although he's doing well in this category, his site's never going to rank because it's got no content on it or any backlinks pointed back to help kind of bolster up those rankings. So, and this is just our, the same type of report through Ahrefs. No backlinks. His organic keywords, you usually see at least a few. In this case, there's really none, and we want to help him change that. So furthermore, we'll pull, anywhere from 25 to 50 keywords where he's ranking both on Google and Bing. I don't talk about Bing a ton, but they do have some market share. And we do want to try to get traffic from that search engine as well. But these are a lot of the keywords, just very, standard keywords, family law attorneys, Denver, child support attorney, Denver, so on and so forth. So our goal, if he does decide to engage in SEO, is to help bolster up these rankings over the course of time, which will result in relevant traffic and hopefully inbound leads as well. Now, what we normally do after that, because most of the attorneys that we speak with are interested in driving immediate leads and exposure through pay-per-click, is going over a pay-per-click analysis. So we'll pull a bunch of keywords. This is just a sample of them to get an idea of what it's going to cost to put your ads up here on a per click basis. So in this case, we're seeing about what we normally see in a larger market. Keywords up to $25, $30. If we pulled all of these, I think 150 keywords, and our estimated average CPC somewhere is between $18 and $22. So we know that he's going to have a budget in order to justify, in order to get the types of results that he wants to see. It's not advisable, in my opinion, to throw up $250 or $500 at an average cost per click of 20 when you're only driving 25, 30 visitors to your site. There's just too much margin for error. So in this case, he's got to have a healthy budget of at least $2,000 to $3,000, if not more, in order to make this work. So our strategy really consists of a multiple different things. So on the SEO side, I've talked about this before. I'm going to continue to talk about it. Is really 4 different components. Our technical SEO is making sure that the site is technically sound, that it's able to communicate essentially with the search engines and they know what you're about. Our content marketing, putting out strong content on a consistent basis through a number of different platforms to make sure that that content is linkable and is providing value to the end user, which ultimately will help you increase your rankings. And then link building, building links back to the site that's going to help bolster up that content that we're putting out there. And then lastly, the Google Business Profile optimization, which will help, if done right over the course of time, you rank in the map. So we'll say these are the 4 components that we focus on. Within each of these kind of pillars, there's a lot of work being done in order to hit on all ends and make sure that we're running on all cylinders. As far as the PPC strategy, it's a little bit more immediate, but there is a learning phase as well. So when we build out a campaign, we want to understand which practice areas you want to focus your efforts on. If you're a family lawyer, but you don't take on DCFS cases, we want to make sure we're not focusing on that. Or sometimes I hear I don't want to get child support calls. So we'll focus our efforts on divorce and custody and property division. And what areas do you want to see your clients come from? In this case, he's in Denver. He wants to focus in that immediate area, Arapahoe County, and Pueblo County as well. So we need to design the campaign to hit on those areas so that he's getting the types of clients that he wants. Now, when we launch the campaign, there is a learning phase of the campaign, and you can Google this. What is Google's learning phase? During this time, Google and us are gathering data to understand, what ads are converting, what this campaign is about, and that can last from anywhere from a couple days to, say, 2 weeks. There are times when we turn on a campaign, particularly with divorce and family law, where it just starts producing literally day one. There's other times it takes, a couple weeks to kind of get that into a rhythm. And I want to make sure that anyone we speak with understands this, because it is going to, have an effect on what's going on. We usually say that first month, it's kind of a learning phase, but, you could see activity and good activity well before then, but it could take us a little while to kind of get the campaign humming on all cylinders. And then after that learning phase, we don't just sit on our hands. I mean, this is something that our pay-per-click managers are going into multiple times a week, making optimizations, adding negative keywords, making sure that the calls that are coming through are relevant so that we can continually optimize the campaign. So I'm going to go over, and this is what we typically show, is a case study of a similar law firm. Now, this is a law firm in the Chicago area that does family and divorce law. Now, when we started SEO for them about 2 years ago, we established 20 keywords that we were going to focus our efforts on and try to get rankings for. And you'll notice that when we started in Google and Bing, he didn't have rankings. Zero means that he wasn't showing anywhere on the first 10 pages of Google, so the first 100 spots. So we started with 20 keywords, and after a lot of content marketing, link building, Google business profile optimization, technical SEO, you fast forward and we see much better rankings. So we've added a lot of keywords to the mix. He's ranking for 182 now of the 206 keywords that we're focusing on. You notice his benchmark was 100 plus, and his current rank for many of these keywords is now, between 1 and 4. There's other 7, 8s that we're trying to get higher up on the page, but he's improved his rankings significantly over this time frame. And what that's meant is increased organic traffic. Now, if we look at January 12th to February 11th of 2021, this was his baseline traffic. He was seeing 657 total visitors, of which 315 came from organic SEO traffic. And if you fast forward to present time, you'll see he's improved his traffic significantly. So his organic traffic, the number of sessions he saw in the same time frame 2 years later, is up about 885%. So he's seeing well over 3,000 visitors on a monthly basis, and we expect this to continue to grow. And this has resulted in a lot more inbound leads, a lot more calls, a lot more contact forms, live chats, so on and so forth. So this is what we want to see. We want to see gradual growth. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is a long-term investment that's going to help you get that organic exposure that, unlike PPC, when you turn off the PPC ads, they come down immediately. Whereas this is evergreen, meaning that it should stay there as long as you're continuing to do the right things with content and link building and technical SEO. So I also want to show a pay-per-click case study. So this is a firm that, the same firm actually, that we're working with that has about a $3,000 a month budget that we're putting towards the pay-per-click, those ads at the top. We're able to tell what keywords are driving the most activity, what ad groups, what our average click-through rate is, cost per click, average cost per conversion, so that we're able to internally determine where we should make adjustments. But we also want to share this with you, the clients, in order to show you what's going on and that we're proactively making these adjustments. So in this particular case, in January of this year, their budget drove a total of 63 calls, 57 unique callers. And we also take it one step further. So we have an internal audit team that audits all of the calls to make sure that they're relevant. And if they aren't relevant, we know we need to make adjustments. So in this snapshot, we can tell that this caller might not have been the best call, but this person's got a child custody matter. This person's got a father's rights issue, and we are making sure that we're sharing that with the client, but also using this information in order to make the optimizations that we want to make. We always have a very comprehensive report as well that I'm not going to get into right now, but we want to share this reporting with you at least once a month and have a checkpoint where we can go over everything to make sure that things are moving in the right direction. So our high-level recommendation, and I won't go into very specifics right now, for this client is, they need to have a new website. The website that they have, if they asked us to work with that, I would say we can't work with it. I'd rather pass on the business than to try to optimize this site because at this point, it just needs to be overhauled. We need to build it out. He needs to do search engine optimization to build up his organic presence over the course of time. And that's going to take a while. I mean, he's got a lot of room to make up. So I suspect that, 12 months from right now, we're going to see good progress, but he's not going to be where he wants to be. So in order to kind of feed the law firm in the meantime, because he's 100% referral based right now, word of mouth, I would recommend doing a pay-per-click campaign and spending, at least $2,000 a month. I would recommend more, but that would be the baseline to generate inbound phone calls right off the bat, and to position him to see, those coming through. So, again, a little bit about us is, we've been in business for 10 years. We work with over 100 small and mid-sized law firms in about 20 states. And I've been working in the law firm marketing space for about 15 years. I used to work for Martindale Hubble before starting Forward Lawyer Marketing in 2013. And there I worked with a couple hundred law firms as well. So we have a dedicated team of ad buyers and marketers dedicated to the legal industry only. And combined, we have about 60 years of experience in our small team. So our mission is really to understand what your needs are and put together a comprehensive program on how we can help best achieve those. So take a look at our reviews on Google Business. You'll see that the clients that speak of us speak very highly of us. And if you're looking to get an audit of what we can do, a strategy session, this is what it's going to look like. And I think you'll get a lot of value out of it, whether or not you decide it's going to make sense for your law firm. So this is our strategy session, and feel free to give us a call if you have any questions, if you want to do the same thing for your law firm.